Hello and welcome to the Social Media and Self-Employment Webcast. This webcast is funded by the U.S. Department of Education Rehabilitation Services Administration. The ideas, opinions, and conclusions expressed do not represent recommendations, endorsements, or policies of the U.S. Department of Education. My name is Sierra Ladroma with Griffin Hammis Associates. I am incredibly excited to share space and energy today with an artisan soap maker and his team based in California. His business, called Trev's Trades, has become absolutely viral on social media as Trevor's story, quality products, and contagious energy is something everyone wants to be a part of. In this webcast, we'll be talking about how Trevor and his team have elevated his business with the power of social media. So please meet Trevor Deely, the man behind the soaps, his mother, Tia Deely, and his personal aide, Raven. Trevor, would you mind saying hello?
My name is Trevor, and we live in California.
Mhm. And what do you do?
I made soap,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what? I watched MLB, and I watched Jeopardy Move Fortune with my grandma.
True. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And over the weekend, we watched NCAA NASCAR with my grandma.
Yeah. All right.
Excellent.
Thanks, Trev.
Now, waving you to go.
Oh, I'm going now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Raven. I do support, so whatever Trevor needs, whether it be helping with the self business or personal life stuff, I just kind of keep him on his toes.
She keeps us motivated and moving, doesn't she, Trevor?
Yeah.
And
Thank you for being here.
that's right. I'm Tia. I'm Trevor's mom. I am all things at all times, I guess. So I fill in the gaps and help when needed and help keep things moving forward. And Trevor has developed this soap business with the help of myself, the family, and it's going well. We're excited to be here. Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you for being here. So I'm going to share my screen of a short PowerPoint to just kind of walk us through what your business is, Trev, and a little bit of background. And you just let me know when to move to the next slide.
Great. So we're Trev's Trades, where autism meets potential. And we are an artisan soap business that provides Trevor the opportunity to understand and explore meaningful employment while learning job skills in a supportive, integrated environment. And we've been doing it for about 3 years now, officially. Trevor's been making soaps for probably 4 or 5 years at least.
Kimmy?
And then we just started, but the actual business has been going for about 3 years. And we can go to the next slide. So this is Trevor. Trevor was born at 26 weeks, weighing 1 pound, 7 ounces. So he came into this world very, very early, had probably every complication you can have of prematurity, several surgeries in the first few weeks of life as a very tiny baby. And we spent 101 days in the NICU before he was actually able to come home. He came home, he was still about 3.5 pounds when he came home. So he was very, very small. And he is now a young adult. That is, how old are you?
21.
23, right?
And can you tell they let me watch something there with the screen?
We can talk about that, sure. And Trevor has multiple disabilities. So he has complex medical needs based on being born so early and just the impact of that, the lifelong impact of being a micro premature baby. He has autism, intellectual disabilities, epilepsy. He also has Crohn's disease, apraxia. And those are some of the few of the list of disabilities that Trevor experiences.
But
one of the things that has always stood out to me about Trevor was when he was born and we were bringing him home, one of the doctors said that, you have a real fighter here and you better hang on because Trevor has a will to live like nobody else. And there was no medical reason that he should be here. But he defied the odds and we brought him home. So then 20 years later, we started doing soaping. So that's how we jumped to the soaping business 20 years later. One of the main core components of Trev's Trades is really creating a work transition program. And what that means for Trevor is moving from being in the educational system to what do I do as a young adult now with multiple complex disabilities, and what does that look like? And so as we started to explore those options, they were really limited for Trevor. And it was important for me when I looked at his future to define and try to figure out what sustainable, meaningful employment would be for Trevor. Sustainable in the fact that it was something he could do over a period of time and build skills and keep developing his repertoire and, growth and not be stagnant. And then meaningful for Trevor, what would be something that he would enjoy doing and then get pleasure out of it and take pride in what he was doing? So those became a big component as I started thinking about the future for Trevor and what that would look like. And when we look at the statistics from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, when we talk about individuals with disabilities, it's pretty dismal to think that only 19% of this population of people ever find employment. And that doesn't mean it's employment that they choose to do or employment that they have actively engaged in doing. Employment could be something that they have been told to do because there is no other option. And we need to break that cycle. And we need to have a platform where people and individuals with disabilities can really find something that is meaningful and impactful in their lives. And that was part of the big goal when we really started looking at creating something for Trevor out of necessity, because there really wasn't much or anything available currently for him. We stumbled into soap production and making soaps during a period of time where we were doing project-based learning with Trevor. And we had ordered just like all kinds of different kits of activities that come. And one of them was a soap making kit. And Trevor really took to it and he liked it and it was fun. And he gave those soaps to everybody and he got such positive feedback that he wanted to keep making soap. So we kept doing it. And then over time, it's turned into this small business. But part of the meaningful part for Trevor is that he's learning the process and he's learning from the start to the middle to the end. And Trevor now knows that process and can do it very well with minimal supports. And that is a huge movement in growth for Trevor as we look at his projection and his future. And it also speaks to the power of opportunity, right? The ability to have somebody believe in you enough that they give you an opportunity or help you find an opportunity that can move you from one point to the next. And that's what the soap production has done for Trevor. We can move to the next slide. And so when we look at Trevor and what does the future hold for him within a small business, we don't know. We didn't know when we started. We had no clue. We didn't even start out to start a business. And so, when I look ahead and I think about future and when Trevor looks ahead, he now speaks in different language. He now knows what it is to have a job and to be in charge of his job and his work schedule. and make critical decisions about how things are handled and done, and be respected within those decisions and given that opportunity. And so that's really exciting when I think about Trevor's future. Long-term goals for Trevor, one of the things that he has identified is that he really wants to work with friends and work with other people. So creating a platform and a business model where we can bring others in, whether it's neurotypical or neurodiverse individuals or both, into his work environment is a motivating factor for Trevor, and something that we hope to be able to do in the future and are working every day towards that. The other thing is that we found with Trevor is that once he got some base soaps down and he knew how to make them, he would get a little bit bored with making the same thing. He needed creativity. He needed options. He needed to not just do rote activities all the time. And so while we have what we call our classic soaps that we keep, it's our base soap line that will always be on the website, or currently has always been on our website. Trevor also does seasonal soaps, and this allows him to stretch his thinking, to think outside the box, to get really creative, problem solve, run a production line and do a small batch and see what happens, And so that's been really great for him too. So we keep on those kind of things for Trevor when we look ahead to his future and what Trev's Trades may mean to him as it continues to grow and he continues to grow.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's just such a good foundation of just understanding how Trev's Trades came about. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. And I know that Trev and his teams has gotten a lot of exposure since we first met, actually. He has won the Eddie Awards. He's been involved in multiple webinars. And I have had my own community and some of my coworkers. I just actually got off a meeting where one of my coworkers had shared that she provides soaps as gifts. And people love the packaging, the intentionality, the creativity, and just the quality of work that Trevor does. And he is a true soap maker, a true artisan. And it's just so neat to be able to see his story through social media, right? So we have stayed in contact. We probably talk like once a month, but
probably,
yeah. But we also get so I get the opportunity to kind of see behind the scenes through your social media platforms. And I want to show the TikTok that really put you guys on the map. It made you viral. And I think it has, what is it, Tia, 1.7 or 2.7 million views?
It was I think we're up to about 2.7 million. Yeah.
That's incredible. And these launches that Trev does, like you were sharing that you have the like standard soaps, but then there are these special seasonal launches that are so creative and fun. And I'm excited to share this specific one because I think everyone loved it.
What's this soap that you made today?
I made Jack-o'-lantern soap.
Jack's
Skellington
soap for
Halloween.
Excellent. Can you show us all the ones on the table? Ooh, look at all those. What do you think of this soap, Trev?
I like it.
Do you? Do you think people should enjoy this soap for Halloween?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, have a good one, people.
Have a good one. Bye.
So that simple video changed the game. It changed
so much. It really did. And it was surprising, right? So Raven, who you saw earlier, she came on as part of Trevor's support team, and she said, how come you're not on TikTok? And I said, I don't know anything about TikTok. I heard TikTok's scary. I don't want to go on TikTok. I'm just like, no, it's not. Come on, come on. And I said, well, you set it up for us and show me what to do. And let's do it. And then Trevor also had a neighborhood friend that's in high school, and she said the same thing. What? You got to be on TikTok. So between the two of them, they set us up and they linked all the accounts so everything goes the way it's supposed to, which seems to be beyond my capability at this point. And really, we just started making very simple, very basic videos on my camera, nothing special. And that particular video went viral, and it jumped us. I mean, our sales exploded in such a way that was so surprising. We started and we really had no idea what we were doing. I mean, it was just kind of a mom and a son doing our thing and making some soaps, and a family gathering around us to make our initial website, and these things, just this organic kind of process that happened. And when we got on TikTok and that video created so much attention, it really cemented the sustainability of Trev's Trades. And we went from, even on Facebook, across platforms, what it did was amazing. We went from, maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people up to like 46,000 people almost overnight, which is a lot when you're a small little business, right? When you're a small little entity and you're plunking along with 1,000 or 2,000 people seeing your content and buying a few soaps here or there. That was enough for us to get started. But if we want to reach those goals that Trevor has identified for himself, we have to grow, and we have to get a bigger platform so that individuals will see Trevor's story and then support his soaping and that type of thing. So it was amazing. I still don't quite know how things go viral, and we're waiting for the next one. Mm-hmm. To go viral again. So we just kind of keep posting and doing our thing. And I think one of the things when we talk about social media is authenticity. And when I look at what we're doing with Trevor, we're just us. And you see what he's doing, and you see the progress he's making over time. And you see the development of his soaps and the product, and you see him working through each step of the soaping process. It is not my business. It is not my product. It is Trevor's product. I am his voice, and I help him. And I do these kind of things because this is harder for Trevor, the language piece of it. But he is the mastermind, and he is the person behind the soaps and making the soaps and running his business, which is a remarkable thing when you talk about somebody with complex disabilities that, to be quite honest, people didn't believe he could. Mm-hmm. And we were told that he wasn't employment wasn't a viable option for him, and that he was quote unquote unemployable. And that's a devastating thing to be told. Not only as a parent hearing that, but also when you think about the future and you think about how much pride and ownership we as adults get, many of us, from our employment and from our choices of work that we choose to do. And so to be told that that wasn't even an option for Trevor, that he was unemployable and nobody wanted to really help or give us a template or help us move into a direction that might be creative and think outside of the box for him, wasn't something I was going to accept. Just wasn't. Did we start out to start a business? Oh, absolutely not. Neither of us knew what we were doing. We still don't. We're kind of just learning as we go. Mm-hmm. But that's also the beauty and joy of it, right? and to see organically the growth of Trev's Trades, and more importantly for me as Trevor's mom, the growth of Trevor. And when he talks about his business, when he meets somebody new and he shares a soap or his business card, he lights up and he has pride and he has ownership of this. And this is something uniquely his that we all need to experience. And so it's been incredible. It's been an incredible journey so far. And it just, I think the biggest takeaway is for us is just try, right? If it doesn't work, okay, it didn't work. But if you never try, you never have the opportunity to find what might work and the growth and development that comes with it. So Trevor, who was considered unemployable, and we couldn't get supports and services through any traditional means. We just did it ourselves, and now he is employed. He is a productive, employed member of his community and of society. And that is huge when we talk about individuals with disabilities and giving them that opportunity. And we all deserve that opportunity. So Absolutely. It's been a wonderful journey.
So I know that Trevor, he does love to be involved in webinars and different meetings, but he also loves to get back to work. So he will be joining us here and there. But on behalf of Trevor, can you share with us what you think is his favorite part of being a business owner? So I know he makes the soaps himself, but has he shared like, these are my favorite parts?
Yeah. You know, I don't know that he's actually put it into words so much, but you can see it when you're around him. And it's just what I said. It's sharing his soaps, sharing something that he has done with other people. And to hear him say, this is my business card and I own my business. Mm-hmm. And just to watch him sit up a little straighter or stand a little bit taller and speak with a little more authority is really life-changing. And I think that that is what we have to remember, is that these opportunities are life-changing. And while Trevor enjoys making the soap, really sharing the soap is his favorite part.
That's beautiful. Thank you. So when we first started working together, there was this almost intimidation and hesitancy around social media, right? Like it's just this kind of looming shadow where we knew just how important it is, but how do we start? Like, what do we even? And so with the growth of Trev's Trades from the support of social media, how has your mindset shifted at how social media maybe could be looked at based off of other teams and other families who are just kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure?
You know, I was not a social media person at all, and neither was Trevor. We weren't on any of the platforms, just ourselves, right? I had a very small little Facebook page with only people I knew intimately, like family, and that was it. And so I was nervous about it, and to be quite honest, it was a little daunting to think about, how do I share Trevor? How do I share Trevor with millions of potential people in a way that I can't control? Because social media is, you know, you control what you put out there, but then it has a life of its own. And it has longevity. So those all made me very nervous. And I thought, I don't know how to do this. So we started really basic, a picture and a little sentence. And we started on Facebook because that's the platform I knew. That was kind of my generational platform. And so that's where we started, was just on Facebook. And we didn't do anything else. And we slowly got more comfortable with it. And we have had such a positive feedback from our Facebook community and our social community that has built across these platforms. Because then Trevor's cousin said, you need to be on Instagram, Trevor. And so she helped us get an Instagram account started. And then we started on those two platforms. And that's really where we were until last year. Well, it's been about, I don't know if we've been on TikTok even a year yet. It's probably been maybe 9 months or so, 8 months on TikTok. And so, but the combination of those three platforms and utilizing them in a positive way has been a journey in and of itself of understanding the power of social media, and then understanding a little bit, and we are still learning every day, how to harness that in a way that not only is about Trevor and his soaps. And I think for me, when I talk about social media, one of the things that has changed in my perspective of social media is not just buy a bar of soap from Trevor, but how can we advocate and how can we show people with disabilities and the potential that they have, and what impact could that have on somebody else? And I think that we have had so many families reach out to us through the platforms, through our emails, through Trev's Trades, reaching out and just saying, I didn't know this was possible for my person in my life. I didn't know that this was even something we could even try to do. And to know that his story is potentially having that impact of opening a door for somebody else, while Trevor may not completely understand all of that, I do. And I know the power that that can have as a parent. And that is remarkable. And I think bringing together this community of people around Trevor and around disability and around complex disabilities, and also showing the tough side, right? In a respectful manner, because a lot of times on social media, all we ever see are really positive kind of stories, right? These really positive, uplifting things, which I believe Trev's Trades is. But there's also a tough side. And so being able to share that a little bit in a respectful manner for Trevor and for other families, I think is huge too. So it's not only about selling a bar of soap. It's about the community that has developed around and within our social media circles that I really did not expect and didn't understand at all. And that's been an interesting journey in and of itself, is that piece of it. So
I think there is so many opinions floating around in regards to social media, especially with the hesitancies that you just so bravely shared, because that's real, right? Like this is, we want to protect our loved ones, but we also want to make sure that we put out intentional content that really helps us. And so can you share how you and Trev go about planning what kind of content you create and share?
So primarily it is revolving around the soap business, because this is what we're trying to do, is build a sustainable business for Trevor. So we try to make sure that that's the primary content. So obviously, you know, creating product, showing him doing his job, showing that piece of it is huge and a big portion of what we do. But within that, we can show how a small task becomes a focus point. And then once mastery happens, what that looks like, and then the independence that that brings. So again, you're showing the product, but you're also showing the advocacy behind the product and the support and the ability behind that product.
Of course.
Hey, Trevor, do you want to answer some questions about your business?
Sure, I want to show you this first.
We'll hold it up like this.
At a rubber ducky?
Hold it like.
Can you tell us about it?
We made ducks.
Is this a rubber duck?
No,
What kind of a duck is it?
it's a soap duck.
Mm-hmm. And how did you make that soap duck?
I made it with other things.
Right, but what did you use?
I used like other things.
Did you carve it with a knife?
No.
What did you do? You poured it into a
mold.
That's right. That's right. And is searching for molds and different things part of what you do for your job?
Yes.
So that we can make different soaps based on the season?
Yes.
Yeah.
We got rid of that one paper.
Okay, thank you. So I think
Trevor,
we have
are you in your shop right now?
I'm in the soap room.
Are you
You're
in
in
the
the
soap?
soap room?
Yep.
This is where you make the soap?
Mm-hmm.
You look here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I love it.
Do we have this dedicated space just for you?
Yeah.
We do. Yeah. Yeah. And who helped set it up?
Yeah. Sophia.
Sophia came and helped. And did you set up your workstations?
Yeah.
Trevor, for your TikTok, what kind of videos do you love to make?
I like to make other videos.
Mm-hmm. Do you help make the videos?
Mm-hmm.
You do, don't you?
Can I?
And do you help decide what we're going to put on the videos?
Yes. I'm getting a little hungry.
Okay.
What's that?
All right. Do you want to say anything else about the videos?
Mm-mm.
Not right now. How about your Facebook page? Do you want to say anything about that?
No.
No?
You want to show us, do you want to go grab some soaps?
Well, what are these called, Trevor?
These are sugar scrubs.
These are sugar scrubs. And how do we make the sugar scrubs?
By putting them in
Right.
the jar.
Right. You fill the jars after you make them. Right. What goes into these fun little?
I don't know.
What do you put in there?
Soap.
You put in soap and
You put in
the sugars. And then what makes them a certain color?
I don't know.
The
Coincidence.
the mica.
Mica.
Mm-hmm. So you have to add the color in.
And then use the color, Trev?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you stir it all in?
Yes.
You do. And then do they smell good?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What makes them smell good?
I don't know.
What do we put in them? The
fragrant oil.
The fragrance and essential oils. Yeah.
Afterwards, I'm showing them. Maybe I get back my favorite.
Maybe. And then what is this soap, Trevor? What is this soap?
This is our elegant.
Elegance. Mm-hmm. And what did we make this soap for this year?
For Mother's Day.
For Mother's Day. Yeah. Is that part of your Mother's Day line? Mm-hmm.
And then this one is our spectrum of light.
Can you hold it up?
Beautiful.
Is that your spectrum of light?
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of soap is that?
Rainbow.
It's rainbow. And what kind of soap do we use to make it? The shea butter or the glycerin?
Glycerin.
The glycerin.
I know that Raven is here with us today, but is also hanging out with Trevor. Can you just share a little bit of the supports that Raven does provide for Trev's Trades?
Yeah. So Raven is what we have in California are PAs or personal assistants that are funded through our regional centers, which is a department of our DDS, Department of Disabled Services. And so it is a support for individuals with intellectual and complex needs to help them in any capacity they might need. So part of what Raven does is she will help Trevor, stay on task. She'll give him prompts in the soap studio about, follow your task analysis. What's the next thing to do? Always trying to promote independence, but just helping Trevor complete the steps necessary in the sequence that they need to happen. And so she will do those kind of things. She's also great about bringing in a lot of creativity and saying to Trevor, oh, I really like this or that. And let's look at this, Trevor. We can maybe make this a soap. And, just sparking that energy and those different designs sometimes it's great to have another person help him do that. In fact, they're working on a brand new project that will be coming out soon. Raven is a big gaming fan, so there's a little bit of a hint of something that's coming. So,
cool.
And it's a Trevor and Raven project because I know really very limited knowledge about what they're doing. And so that's a really pivotal piece in this too, is really being able to find those supports that are necessary and utilizing what is available within a system already. So utilizing the supports in California in a way that will be beneficial to Trevor. So could a personal attendant do a lot of different things? Absolutely. But they can also be basically a mini job coach and really helping him within that employment piece of his life and keeping him moving forward in that piece. So Raven does a lot of different things. Right now she is being with Trevor so that I can also do this and share Trevor's story a little bit, and that Trevor can come and go as he's able to and be part of this experience as much as he can be. And Raven helps facilitate those type of things also.
Thank you for sharing Raven's role. It sounds like she has become a very important part of the team.
She has, and over time that changes. When somebody first starts on your team in one role, you find their strengths and their talents, and things can change and really be a perfect segue to learning something new on their part. And then also them having a broader appreciation for individuals with disabilities and how to offer respect, because that's the big thing, right? Basic respect. We're all humans. We all deserve to be respected and valued for who and what we are in exactly the format of who and what we are. And so, demonstrating that to others and then having Raven pick that up and become part of that community of respect. And then she takes that out into the world with her and does whatever she's going to do with it. But it's one more life that's been touched in a way that can promote inclusion for people with disabilities. And that's huge.
It is huge. So one of the last couple questions I have for you regarding social media is this idea where we often overthink it. We kind of just make it too big and we get stuck. We kind of get paralyzed in this thought process of, I don't know what to post, how often, and like captions, things like that. How do you handle, or how do you go about planning how often you post?
At first, we didn't really have a plan. We just kind of posted here and there, not very often. But we started noticing that there were certain times of the day, if you post, we got a couple more clicks, right? Or if we posted 2 or 3 days in a row, we seemed to get a few more people looking at things. So it was a lot of trial and error for us. And then a lot of research on my end of just reading different articles and things about how and what to do. And then also gauging it on what's going on in Trevor's world and what we can show. And what if we have content to show. So it's not a hard and fast rule for us. We're pretty flexible with it. We try to post at least once a day. And most days we're successful with that. We have learned how to use, at first I didn't even understand that you could schedule your posts. So learning to use those tools that are built into social media effectively so that you can not spend your entire day trying to figure out one post on social media has been really critical for us too. And then utilizing that platform and the tools they have on the platform in order for it to be easier. So doing cross posting at the same time. I didn't even know you could post on, make one post and have it one click and it would go to several different places. That was a learning curve. And Trevor's not doing those pieces yet, but he is involved in all of those pieces. And so I believe that someday he will do them all, right? And he'll make his list of when he wants to post and what he wants to post. He always has final say of what's posted because it is, again, about respect, and it is his platform. And so he needs to say, yes, I want to post this, or no, I don't want to post this. And there might be a time or two where I've overridden that, but really hardly ever, because that is, again, it's Trev's trades, and that's important for me to have him be able to do that. So utilizing the tools that exist within the platforms, I think, is key. Understanding how to utilize those tools, understanding that there are even tools there that you can use was a big one. And then consistency. I think just making it part of your daily or your weekly tasks that we do, of creating some social media posts and then scheduling them to be dropped at certain times, has been a key factor for us in making that work. And we've seen steady growth doing that. So yes, we had the video that went viral, and that's been great. But beyond the viralness of it, we now have a platform of people that are connected to Trevor. They truly feel that they are getting to know Trevor and that he has become somebody that they want to know. And so this group of people now follow him and comment and enrich his life in all these different ways that we didn't even know were available. So it's really about consistency for us, as far as our timing of when we post, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. So my last question that I have for you is, what advice do you have for other teams that are interested in entrepreneurship, or who maybe have already their businesses started, but in regards to social media, what is one piece of advice where they could use social media as a platform to just grow?
I think for us, one of the key things that has happened that, again, I didn't really understand was not only we're not in a bubble, right? We're not Trev's Trades sitting over here in an isolated bubble. Becoming part of a bigger community of people that are like-minded. So connecting with other individuals that are already doing this work, that are already out there, that already have platforms, and sharing our story on those platforms. And that came organically for us. We didn't search for it. People found us and invited us onto their platforms to share Trev's Trades. But be open to that, right? Be available to that. Don't be scared of jumping in and trying something new on a platform with somebody else. Be smart, but also be open. And I think that that's been one of the keys for us, because when we first started, the idea of me getting on here and talking for an hour on a platform was not something I was going to do. And certainly
had a lot of practice, you and I together.
We have. And then also just being connecting with other people, right? And how do we do that? We look at their content. We comment on their content. We are engaged with them. And then, they see you. And then you become partners with them in different ways. And that is kind of a little bit of a trick, I guess I've learned. It's not a trick, but it's it's a way to reach a bigger audience, or a different audience, right? Because everybody has their own group of people that follow them. And so being able to tap into some of those other groups has been really wonderful for Trevor and Trev's Trades. So that's been a key part of growth. The other key part of growth is consistency. Just do it. Just be on there. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be a picture with your name, and that's it, right? And you don't know who's going to see that picture and go, oh gosh, that looks interesting, and go down a little rabbit hole and figure out who you are. Right. It can also be more complicated. We've gotten more sophisticated in our posting. We've figured out how to do videos. We've figured out how to put audio to them. We figured out how to put music to them. We didn't know any of these things when we started. Like, seriously, we didn't know any. And now Trevor will sit down and he will help me make the videos, and he picks the music, or I'll ask him what words he wants to say, and he'll do voice to text, or we'll type them in together, and he'll help create that content, beyond just being the person that's being filmed. And I think that's really critical too, because again, it goes back to that piece of being authentic to who we are. We're not trying to be anybody else. We are just us. And allowing that to shine through, I think, is key for anybody, and be a little bit vulnerable in that, and just allow that personality and that individualness to just guide you with what you're doing. And start small. Just do it. Just open an Instagram account and post something and see what happens, right? And I think that's the biggest key I can tell people is just start, just try. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, polished. I think part of what makes it charming is that it's not. I mean, we don't have to compete with like big advertising companies and look a certain way and have a certain whatever. We are just who we are. Is a brand forming out of that? Yes, it is. Did I even understand that could happen? No, I didn't. But it is happening, and it's a process that will continue with time. And so give yourself time, give yourself grace, and just get started.
Wonderful. And lastly, can you share with us Trev's handles and usernames?
Sure. So on Facebook, he is Trev's Trades, hyphen where autism meets potential. So we wanted it to be something open-ended, so that if, he decided he didn't want to do soap anymore, maybe he would transition into something else. We didn't know. A lot of people will tell you need to have the name of your product in your social media handles, and that might be a great idea. We didn't do that. I didn't know to do that when we started, just so people know what it is you do. Trev's Trades is a little bit ambiguous. What do we do? It doesn't tell you what you do. But that's how we started, so we haven't changed it. And then it's the same on Instagram. It's just Trev's Trades or Trevor Deely. And then TikTok, it's Trev's Trades. So, and then his website, you can just Google it. It's trevstrades.com. And that'll pop up. And having those connected. So I think that's the other power of social media, is driving people to your business platform, right? You can have the most beautiful website in the world, but nobody will be able to find you. And so using social media to do that. So make sure you link that in your social media accounts. Make sure you have your website there so people can click on your information or your bio button, and there it is, and they can just go boop, and they're sent directly to where you need them to be to actually purchase something. And that's been key too to driving sales. They don't have to look hard for us. We're just there.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
And that's really powerful when you think about it. Mm-hmm. We're there, and they can find us easily once they find us. So that consistency and just being out there allows people to come to you and find you over time. Now, our first year, to be honest, we went a whole year with like less than 1,000 people even being in our community. I mean, we started with zero, none, nobody. I mean, as everybody does. And so it can take a while to get some traction. Mm-hmm. It can take a while to get some momentum going, but it will happen, and it does happen. So keep going.
Yeah, and just keep going. Keep trying. Something's only new really the first time. So, Tia, thank you so much for your time today. It was great to share space with all three of you. Please tell Trevor to have a great day, and we'll talk soon. But thank you for talking about social media and Trev's trades and just your experience.
Well, thank you. And we appreciate being here and having the opportunity to share his story. And maybe it makes a difference for somebody else. And isn't that what we're all here to do? Mm-hmm. So moving forward, I hope that can be a motivation to the future people that see this and can see the potential in somebody with Trevor's uniqueness. Don't ever close the door on somebody. Always be open to finding that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.